Video, I am going to demonstrate how to search for an article in ABC CLIO, take notes on the Join My Reform note sheet, and just talk about some of the features that are available to you in this database. So I'm starting on the Join My Reform Library Resource Guide. I am going to scroll down to Library Databases. This is where I will find ABC CLIO, and the username and passwords that you need to access this database are here in this link. So I'm going to click on ABC CLIO, and it is going to open in a new tab. And my username and passwords are here, and I'm going to log in. And once I'm in the database, you will see that there are 4 different collections of resources available to me. So right here I have American history, wartime, history, world history from ancient and medieval eras, and then a modern world history. And I'm going to go ahead and do a search at the top in this search bar for my social reformer. So I'm searching for Ida Tarbell. I'm going to put her name in quotation marks so that the database knows to search for her as a phrase. And then I'm just going to click the search button. And then once I finish my search, you'll see here that I have my results sorted out by the different categories of information available to me in ABC CLIO. I am going to start by looking at the 16 resources available in American history, but if I don't find what I need there, I can always go into these other 2 sources. So once I select that, you'll see here are all of my resources that mention Ida Tarbell. You'll notice I don't have information about anyone else named Ida, and that's because I put her name in quotation marks and searched for it as a phrase. Okay, the first resource that I have is a biography. That's going to give me lots of background information about Ida Tarbell, and that is a great place to start. I also have a photo, which will be great for the second part of my assignment where I have to make a brochure. I have a reference article, so that's also background information about Ida Tarbell and her work with another social reformer, Upton Sinclair. And then I have these cultural documents. See how it says the history of the Standard Oil Company from 1904. That's a preface of a book that Ida Tarbell contributed to in 1904, so that counts as a primary document. Similarly to this one, Rockefeller built an oil monopoly. So right away we know that Ida Tarbell is really focused on large companies, government activity, and monopolies. And so we can read a little bit more about that by going into her biography. So once I'm in here, you'll see my search term is highlighted. Other terms are hyperlinked, so they will lead me to other articles. Also, relevant information and related articles are here on the left. So once you find something that's very useful, you can really use that to link to other resources. Also, once you find an article that you know is going to be helpful for your paper, you can save it or email it to yourself so you don't have to repeat your search. You can cite it in Noodle Tools, and the way you'll do that is to click this citation button and export it to Noodle Tools. There is another tutorial on that, so you can take a look on the resource guide for more information there. You can listen to this. So if it's useful to you and it's hard for you to read something that's this long, you can go ahead and click here and the database will read it to you. And you can absolutely translate this into another language. So use these features if they are helpful to you. And so now what I'm going to do once I find something useful is I'm going to start to read. And as I read, I'm going to take notes on the Join My Reform note sheet that I have open in another tab right here. So this first sentence, for example, is Ida Tarbell's condemnation of the Standard Oil monopoly at the beginning of the 20th century placed her among the leading American muckrakers and brought her international fame as a journalist. So there's a lot of information in that first sentence. I'm going to stop there and transfer some of that information into my note sheet. So I still do not know when or where she was born, but I do know I don't know where she lived or where her reform movement focused, but I do know what she's passionate about. So Ida Tarbell was a journalist called a muckraker. And I'll do a little bit more research into what exactly that means. And I'm going to write her work focused on monopolies and the Standard Oil Company. Okay, so that's what I got from that first sentence. And then I can go back to my article and I can keep reading. Another thing that I can do is, let's say I'm really not sure what muckrakers are. Well, I can go into that glossary term and I can read the definition of a muckraker. I can translate that or have it read it to me if that's helpful. And once I'm clear on that, I can go back to my article and I can keep reading and keep taking notes.